Cannabis Common Sense, the show that tells the truth about marijuana and the politics behind its prohibition.
Hello and welcome to another exciting edition of Cannabis Common Sense. We have a great show for you tonight. We have Michael Henning, the director of Hempsters Plant the Seed. We also have Mr. Casper Leach here, the joint host. And there they are. And waiting over here in the wings, ready to play some music, is John Cornett and Jan Sue. Welcome back, folks.
Thank you.
Thank you very much,
All
Paul.
of you, welcome back.
Very much.
We are going to play some excerpts from Hempsters Plant the Seed and talk about some news as soon as we bring on our infamous Dancing Cannabis Leaves.
I feel the force.
And here's John Cornett and Jan Sue.
Yeah, I just want to say that we wrote this song for the Candyman, and I think everybody here knows who I'm talking about, our good friend Gary.
Yeah, those of us who have been around the camp here for a while have this fellow that comes up all the time with just these wonderful, delectable treats that he makes.
Cannabis
We donate
treats,
cannabis to him, and he gives us these wonderful brownies and fudge, and he spreads the love at all the festivals and everything. We wrote this song for him
Yeah. So here we
because
go.
he hadn't had one yet. Wrote one for him. He's a hit at the Hemp Fest rallies and a kick at the hemp stalk too. Strutting his fudge and brownies that he wants to share with you. 'Cause he's the candy man, a sugar shaking, fudge making, brownie making son of a gun. He's the candy man, a sugar shaking, candy making, fudge making, brownie making. Do the
sing.
strut. He's got a cannabis recipe, coconut and chocolate too. He's a candy-coated brother, give sweetness to you. He's the candy man, a sugar-shaking, fudge-making, brownie-making son of a gun. He's the candy man, a sugar-shaking, fudge-making, brownie-baking son of a gun. Ah, let's do the strut. Cause he's the candy man, a sugar shaking, fudge making, brownie baking son of a gun.
Yeah, that's a great song, John. Jan Sue.
Different every
Gary.
time we play.
Can't wait to hear Gary's take on that. Be a fun day. Well, welcome back to the show, Michael. Howdy.
Here's the new handshake.
Oh, yeah, that's
Here's
right, the fist bump
Boom,
thing.
and then you blow it up.
Is that what it is?
My son told me.
Well, we've got Michael Henning. He's the director of Hempsters Plant the Seed, and Casper Leach, the founder and host of Time for Hemp, which is a television show about 20 years ago now, right? And a radio show today on the American Freedom Radio Network.
It is, and it's got a lot of people tuning in. And every time you hear the word joint on our broadcast, please fire up Toke Out. I mean, we are education, and we're focused on trying to teach people the truth about paper, fiber, fuel, and medications.
You can catch Paul Stanford on the last show, right?
Yeah, every
On
Thursday.
Thursday
All right.
afternoons. I am his
Paul
joint
Stanford.
host. You have a different joint host, though, different days of the week.
Every Mondays right now, we got Mary Lynn Mathry and Al Burns from Patients at a Time, and they're bringing on people like Andrew Weil to the program. And then on Tuesdays, we have people like Simon from Serious Seeds from Amsterdam coming on with Kelly, who is our joint host. Kelly from KDK Distributors up in Canada, an amazing group of people that keep the marijuana movement going up there. On Wednesdays, every Wednesday is Leap Day, Law Enforcement Against Prohibition, with Peter Chris, co-founder of Leap, as our joint host. We have people like Judge James Gray on there, and former prosecuting attorneys, and Norm Stamper come on. And then on Thursdays, we have Paul Stanford as our joint host, and he's bringing people. I don't know, you may have heard of this guy named Willie Nelson. And Willie's got a little group of people that he sings with and goes around, does a little tour. And on Fridays, we have Michael Krawitz, who does We Are the World Fridays, focused on people at the United Nations who are hell-bent on ending these policies, these horrible, horrible policies called prohibition, all around the world that are destroying the lives of people who just want to get on with living. So if you want to find out more about all the reasons to end prohibition, all the things this plant can make, and all the things that you can do to help make the world a better place, please tune in to Time for Hemp Monday through Friday, 10 to 11 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, 1 to 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Bring a friend, and every time you hear the word joint, take Time for Hemp. Thank you, Paul.
Sure. Hey, we are taking phone calls this evening. You're watching Cannabis Common Sense. It's Friday, April 6th, 2012. And you can call us at 503-288-4448. That's 503-288-4448. We'll be taking your phone calls and questions about ending adult marijuana prohibition, restoring industrial hemp, and helping medical marijuana patients. So right now, you're getting ready to do a screening of, you're kicking off some screenings of Time of Hempsters Plant the Seed.
Yeah, we're trying to create kind of a whole new way of doing this, where the film is the hood ornament on the car, and the car being special guests like Paul Stanford's going to be there. One of our
More
special Q&A.
luminaries like Julia.
We have Julia Butterfly Hill is going to be the keynote speaker. And Ron Williams of Versativa is going to be our moderator for the Q&A and the introduction of the piece. And we're experimenting. You know, we're trying to find ways of more of the experience than just the film. We have a great chef coming out. He cooks for the Marleys. His name's Moses, the Iron Chef. And we're going to have hemp seed oil over the popcorn, hemp beer, hemp wine, hemp vodka, hemp jerk chicken, whatever that tastes like, is up to Moses, and the sky's the limit. We're going to just keep trying stuff, so come on out. Lakewood Theater, April 28th, Saturday night, the Hemp Bash. You can find out about it on hempbash.com, and come join us. We're coming to Portland. We're coming to Portland after that one.
So, right now I want to remind everyone that we have a petition drive going on to end adult marijuana prohibition, restore industrial hemp. Our Oregon Cannabis Tax Act has just topped 60,000 signatures. We need 87,213 valid registered Oregon voter signatures within the next 3 months. We have until July 6th to get the rest of those signatures, so we certainly need your help. So if you can get some signatures or just want to sign yourself, you can either go to our website. It's right there on the screen, cannabistaxact.org. That's cannabistaxact.org. Or you can call us at 503-235-4606. or come to our office at 2712 Northeast Sandy Boulevard and pick up some petitions, sign it. You can go to the website and print out a single-sided, single-signature petition sheet, then mail that in or bring it to this address here on Sandy Boulevard. Or we can only have registered Oregon voters sign the petition. So we need 87,000 registered Oregon voters' signatures. Or you can make a donation there online. And donations qualify for Oregon's income tax credit, up to $50 a person or $100 for married couples filing jointly. So you actually get all of that money back, up to $50 a person, next year when you file your income tax. So please go online there and make a donation. If you can do that, that would be a big help because we're paying petitioners. We've got about 25 paid petitioners out in the field right now, and we're hiring more. That's the other thing. If you are looking for work, we are hiring petitioners, so you can call us and or come into our office and apply. And it's a matter of walking around a lot. The best petitioners walk 10 to 12 miles a day and talking a lot. And now that, as of today at least, the weather's getting a little bit better, we're hoping our signature number starts to climb precipitously.
Already creating jobs.
We're already creating jobs, and we'll create tens of thousands more as soon as we end adult marijuana prohibition and restore industrial hemp.
Always remember, it's better to have a job than to not have a job.
You know, I always believed in making jobs instead of taking jobs. If you can make more jobs, then that's an even better proposition. The entrepreneurial spirit's very strong here in Oregon. We have more small businesses per capita, but we will create tens of thousands more when we end adult marijuana prohibition and restore industrial hemp.
I have a message to the drug czar and to the DEA. May I send it? You're a bunch of clowns for arresting a guy in a wheelchair at his university. I can't believe you touched that tire baby in Oakland. Hope it blows up in your face and it backfires. I can't believe it. I just can't believe what you did. You are just over the top.
Our viewers probably don't know, or some of them anyway.
Well, it happened
probably
on Monday.
Don't know what happened. So on Monday,
on Monday, when I found out that the DEA raided Oaksterdam University, a university ran by a man in a wheelchair, and while they were kicking in the doors and taking stuff from the hemp museum and the hemp little store there where you can buy your little bongs and your little books for your classes, less than a mile down the road, some man was shooting 7 people at a Christian university.
No, he shot 12 and killed 7.
Killed 7, and because the DEA, the IRS were all tied up at Oaksterdam University arresting pot smokers, we didn't get down there to take care of that. And I have gone from being a cute little ball of love to a agitated clown, and I really hope that Oaksterdam becomes a tire baby that is the ruin of your career. I feel better now. Thank you.
Now, so for our viewers who are not aware, last Monday, the Drug Enforcement Administration, the Internal Revenue Service, and U.S. Marshals commandeered about 200 Oakland and Alameda, California law enforcement agents, and the 300 of them raided a medical marijuana dispensary and a school, the largest school in the nation, training people about the medical marijuana field, the Oaksterdam University. And its proprietor, Richard Lee, who is, as he mentioned, a paraplegic man. So while they were all busy, just less than a mile away from one of the places they were raiding, a man started shooting students in this Oakland Korean religious college, and he killed 7, shot another half dozen, walked around for at least 20 minutes, and then took someone's car and drove off. And the police couldn't even get there because less than a mile away, they were arresting, hundreds of them were arresting marijuana patients.
They had
So-
members of the IRS SWAT team there. They had the DEA there. They had the local sheriff there. They had the state police there. They had members of Homeland Security there, all taking care of these pot smokers. But you couldn't get one cop down there to stop the killing of 7 people and the shooting of 12. Really? Is that plant that terrifying to you that you can't get it together enough to protect the community and get your priorities right? Really? I hope this thing blows up in your face in ways that you never expected.
And you know, we are taking phone calls tonight, and we have a caller standing by. Welcome to the show, caller.
Hey, Paul, how you doing? Great job you're doing there.
Pretty well, thank you. How are you?
Doing good. I just wanted to ask you if I'm getting ready to have a hip replacement, and I'm looking for a rehab center that is 420 friendly.
You know, according to Oregon's medical marijuana law, the healthcare facilities are supposed to make accommodation for medical marijuana patients while they're in there. But I can't recommend a specific rehabilitation place. Let me ask around. Call our office at 503-235-4606. Leave a message, and we'll see if we can give you a direct referral upon investigation.
Okay, thank you very much, Paul, and I will do that on Monday. Have a great show, and I'll talk to you soon.
You can leave a message now. You don't even have to wait. That way we'll just pick it up. Maybe we'll even do it tomorrow. We'll see.
Okay, thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Yep.
And it is that number there on your screen, 503-235-4606. That's the same number you can call if you want to get involved in the Oregon Cannabis Tax Act petition. We are hiring petitioners. If you know someone who likes to walk and talk a lot and gather signatures, this is the job for them, or you.
Tell them about
Just
the bonus,
call.
Tell them about the bonuses.
Oh yeah, for people. Well, you know, it's you make $10 to $20 an hour and get a. If you get over 300 signatures a week, there's a $50 a week bonus. For people who get over 500 signatures a week, in addition to that hourly wage, there's a $100 a week bonus. So come down, get involved, and every Tuesday night at 7 p.m. we have a volunteer meeting you're invited to. So if you want to volunteer, come on down then. We'll be there. And if you have a question for us tonight, you can call us at 503-288-4448. That's 503-288-4448. Michael, why don't you tell our viewers about your movie, Hempsters?
Well, let's see. We
Plant the Seed.
The original idea was, focused on the planting the seeds that Woody Harrelson did. I think it was 96.
It was June 1st, 1996. I was there that day in Lexington, Kentucky.
And the intention was to plant 4 feral hemp seeds.
Because 5 became a felony.
Right.
By planting 4, it was just a misdemeanor.
And although that could have still resulted in jail time,
Yeah.
I think it was 4 years later, or maybe more, that he finally brought it to court. But in the meantime, I started realizing that there were a lot more people involved in this movement than just Woody. And I think he appreciated that it wasn't the Woody Harrelson story. We found about 7 activists and started following them along with Woody's trial that was pending.
And you want to tell us who those activists
Well,
were, the
yeah.
7 other activists altogether?
Let's see if I can remember them all, because there's also
Sure.
allies that were connected to him. But Donna Cockrell had Woody come to her classroom and
Kentucky school teacher.
His Kentucky school teacher taught about hemp and had Woody express his knowledge on the subject, and then they fired her because he came to the classroom and spoke about hemp. And it's in the film. You can see what he said and did. It was very harmful and abrasive and shocking.
Right.
Being sarcastic. Let's see. Then there was Gatewood Galbraith, the great Gatewood Galbraith, who we all miss quite a bit. We talk about him almost every day around here.
Passed away 3 months ago.
Yeah. I remember in relation to the story you were talking about earlier, when Columbine happened, I said, Gatewood, what's the answer? And he said, arm the teachers. There's a lot of truth to that. Gatewood was just wonderful throughout the whole thing because he was always active. He was always doing something. And we followed him as much as possible. And of course, Willie Nelson was not really one of the focal points, but him and Willie were great friends, and they did a lot together. And we got some good footage of them together doing things that promoted the same cause. I think that Gatewood kind of encompassed everything. He said the whole plant has been lied about. Joe Hickey helped us out a lot on that, and in different aspects in Kentucky. There's the Craig Lee. Craig kind of just represented
And outside
the
of
farmers.
Woody, all these people are in Kentucky.
Yeah,
so far anyway.
Yeah, Kentucky was a focal point because it was really, I think, the #1 state
For the cultivation of hemp up
in its
until
day.
the turn of the 20th century.
And we had some actual hemp farmers in the film, Andy and Jake Graves. Andy's the son of Jake, and so he can't grow hemp. But Jake Graves did during World War II. There was a program where they allowed them to stay home and not go to the front lines as long as they farmed hemp. And the wildest thing about it, I mean, I can't imagine where their minds were at in the time, but when the war was over, they destroyed the seed bank. I mean, why?
To protect the petrochemical, pharmaceutical, military, and all those guys. Hey, you know what, though? We have another caller. Let's go ahead and take that call. Welcome to our show, caller.
Hi, how you doing, guys?
Very well. How are you?
Good. The news yesterday and the day before was talking about 7 heroin overdoses and deaths in 7 days
Right.
in our area.
Yeah, there have been a lot of heroin overdoses. I guess there's strong heroin out there for people who are using that stuff, and they're taking too much and dying.
Well, the report said the needle never came out of their arm, that they got a hot load because it's so cheap. But the point is, maybe they wouldn't have to die if the DEA and the feds and the local guys and the courts would spend the money chasing that instead of chasing things where people don't overdose, don't die, and don't get hurt.
Very good point. Yeah, I agree wholeheartedly. You know, there's no reason to enforce the marijuana prohibition except it's an economic cow for law enforcement and the petrochemical, pharmaceutical, wood-based paper companies.
Yeah.
All those guys.
Gatewood was great at your hemp festival. He's a great storyteller. It's quite a loss.
Yeah.
Well, one thing that kind of surprises me is I keep learning more and more each day about human trafficking and how it is a true plague on this earth and how the numbers are truly understated. And it just baffles me even more that the clowns that are chasing after the plants are doing that instead of chasing after the people who are doing human trafficking and ruining lives. I used to think it was just the women that were being kidnapped in human trafficking until I had someone on my show who pointed out that one of the reasons why men get kidnapped and are used in human trafficking is that they are taken to kill camps where assassins turn them loose and then hunt them and kill them and torture them. So there's a huge market for men and women that are being fulfilled through human trafficking, but today the DEA thinks it's more important to chase a plant. Nice to see that they have their priorities straight.
You know, an interesting thing about the DEA's agenda is the fact that, you know, they call it the Federal Eradication Program, and it's to eradicate the plant completely from the earth. And so they went out to the Pine Ridge Indian Reservation, another activist in the film, Alex Whiteplume. And when you watch the film, you'll see they cut it down with weed eaters. The seeds fall to the ground. They're not killing anything.
And the governor of Kentucky was on that film saying it was crazy for them doing that with 80% unemployment up there. Did you know on the reservation there's no jobs because there's no Walmarts, there's no grocery stores, there's no businesses. It's part of the genocide against the Indians.
Yeah, exactly. It continues today. When they built the Grand Coulee Dam and raised the water on the native nations up in central Washington, they wiped out their way of life, and they didn't even give them electricity from the Grand Coulee Dam. They sent it all over the mountains to Seattle and Portland, and instead of the irrigation water didn't go to help them, it went down somewhere else too, away from their reservation. So
they actually had the Grand Coulee story on OPB 2 nights ago, and they actually said that on the show.
Yeah,
they didn't get any money till the 80s, and they got like $5 million.
Yeah,
they could
drop in the bucket.
Happy April. Keep up the good work.
All right. Well, thanks for your call.
Yeah.
Well, we have a clip from Hempsters Plant the Seed. You want to give us a lead in to what's going on in this film clip we're about to watch?
We got it queued up to this. It should be Craig Lee. And whenever we would film Craig, you know, when the camera was rolling, he was very polite in the Kentucky Southern, attitude of keeping things cordial. And we'd turn the camera off, and he would be a different person. He was angry at how much bureaucracy it took to get just one little bill passed. And one day I said, Craig, why don't you just not worry about this camera and tell us how you feel? And every time we play this scene, the audience just comes alive. So I think it strikes a chord with the way we all feel about this. And the bottom line is it's because they're telling us what seeds we can plant. It's so preposterous that we're letting the government dictate the seeds we can plant. I mean, you'll see. I'll let Craig explain it.
Michael is the director of Hempsters Plant the Seed, and here's an excerpt from that film.
I'm sitting here faced with a memo from Canada where they halted and got to return 17 loads by the order of the Customs and DEA in Canada because now they're calling it so-called a controlled substance. A cocaine dealer that brings in cocaine from South America, when he lands, they seize it. They don't tell him to take it back. So what is the game here? We're trying to make an agricultural crop in this country work for the farmers to diversify out tobacco. I run for state senate in this state. I've worked real hard to help the farmer, and the only thing I do is get ridiculed by my government every time I turn around. And then after you find out about it, Eli Lilly owns the patent to Marinol, which is a base from THC. Archer Daniels Midland, who has put out information that in the next 5 to 10 years that aquaculture in the United States will increase some 350 times. And right now the feed industry for that fish industry is $2 billion a year industry. We're talking about money here. We're talking about businesses where the farmers can come off the land and come with a new protein substance. This is an article right here from the United States Department of Agriculture, Kentucky State University, Frankfort, Kentucky. This is where they use hemp seed meal right there in the article for a test of hemp for fish, channel catfish. The study was good enough to go on forward. We go down there, we give them the meal, they're feeding it to white striped bass now. They're trying to get the data all together. We're advertising Aquaculture magazine. We're working as a business. And next thing you know, we get a memo from these, from the DEA and the United States Customs, telling us that we got to return our stuff. It's a controlled substance. You know, I don't know where people get off that they can sit here and tell a corporation in the United States it's doing a legitimate international business through banking and prosperity and trying to go forward and do marketing and trying to bring back a crop that'll save trees, that will put oil, biomass, thousands of things, and we've got one entity that I can't vote for. And that's the DEA and the United States Customs. I cannot vote for them. I cannot put them out of office. And our people that's in office needs to get rid of these bastards. They're no good. They're no good. I'm telling you. They're not worth a damn. And you see that, ladies and gentlemen? Anybody that's out there watching this? The DEA ain't worth a damn, and Craig Lee said it. I served my time in Vietnam. I fought for this country. I've done everything. Now I'm fighting for agriculture, and I got to work through a goddamn bureaucracy to get this shit done while they tell me to send back a controlled substance to the border. I'm fed up with it. I'm fed up to hear people say, well, this guy is a radical. I wasn't a radical till you, the DEA and the United States government, made me one. You stole my patriotism. You stolen by the United States government. You stole everything I had through all the hard work I tried to do because I got to work through your goddamn bureaucracy. I'm mad. And I'm going to stay this damn way until this is settled or you son of a bitches come and arrest me. You hear that, General? I was a Spec 4 in the United States Army. Give the farmer the right to grow this crop. Sir.
Humankind has no right.
All right, that was an excerpt from Hempsters Plant the Seed.
That's kind of like what happened to me on Monday with Oaksterdam. I went from being this warm, fuzzy ball of love to the DEA can just drop dead and kiss my
remember
grits.
Thank you.
I think there's a little part of that the film Network. Remember that? I'm madder than hell. I'm not going to take it anymore.
Yeah,
you kind of have to reach a point where you're going to do something, and
we are.
At least Craig had the right to say that. Gatewood would always say Craig has the right to say that, and we all do.
I hope the stupidity of the DEA is not finally going to get people to come out into the streets. One of the agitating things about the marijuana movement is you don't show up. You're sitting at home getting high. Your attitude is, I bought an eighth tonight, man. I spent $40 on an eighth. I'd love to donate to your cause, man, but I got to get high for a half hour. And then they're hauling you off and putting you in jail, and you're going, so why don't you do something? So, okay, why don't you do something? We went out and marched in the streets during the 60s against Vietnam War. And this is worse. And I don't see anybody out there now.
We have something productive we can do, and you do see some people out there gathering signatures right now on the Oregon Cannabis Tax Act petition. That would just end this war and restore industrial hemp. Anyone would be allowed to grow their own without a license. Any adult over the age of 21, that is. The sale of seeds and starts will not be regulated under our initiative. Monsanto won't take over the gene pool. It'll be free and open, and it will license farmers to cultivate cannabis for sales to adults over the age of 21 and to patients. And patients' cannabis for medical purposes will not be taxed. They'd be able to get it through pharmacies. You know, Oregon rescheduled marijuana and made it a Schedule II drug. So if there's a legal source, it could be sold through pharmacies. Well, our initiative, the Oregon Cannabis Tax Act, will create a legal supply, and it will also legalize unregulated industrial hemp for fuel, fiber, and food. And so each of those fuel industries, the world's largest business, fiber, it can be used to make canvas, rope, lace, linen, building materials, paper, and we can see it already in our stores. We see Canadian hemp out there. Well, we can give American farmers these jobs. And so we need to return this very valuable crop to our economy, and this will enhance public safety. Law enforcement will be able to concentrate resources on criminals like those heroin dealers out there that have caused all these deaths here in Portland over the past few months. And it will allow over $60 million a year, or over $120 million in a biennium. Oregon's budget's based on 2-year biennium. That money can be reallocated for other public safety needs. So we won't have the police arresting marijuana growers and users. We won't have the courts prosecuting. We won't have the jails incarcerating them. According to Jeffrey Myron, a Harvard economist, that's over $60 million a year just here in Oregon alone. And then the revenue from the sales to adults over the age of 21, we estimate will raise another $140 million a year. So we'll be bringing in $200 million a year, or over a 2-year Oregon budget, about $400 million. That amounts to about 5% of the total state budget that we could lower the tax burden on the rest of the citizens and take care of projects. So we need you to get a petition and get a signature, even if it's only your own, and every dollar you contribute helps us pay a petitioner to go out there and gather another signature. So we urge you to go to our website, cannabistaxact.org. That's cannabistaxact.org. Or go to our office at 2712 Northeast Sandy. Or call us at 503-235-4606.
Now, Paul, who was it that you had the debate with a few shows back?
Yeah, a week ago, last week, I debated Clatsop County District Attorney Josh Markey.
Right. I thought it was interesting how he was talking about reading the bill. I think everybody should read.
Yeah.
You should read the bill, but I don't think he did, because if he had read it, it would have been quite the opposite of his worry. He said he was worried about Oregon being known as the stoner state. How about being known as the freest
almost
state?
racist, you know. Are we have wineries and brew pubs. Are we known as the drunk state?
Right.
And with the legalization of marijuana and hemp, you'd be the freest state with more jobs, probably than any other state.
We'll put Oregon on the cutting edge of exciting new economic development. With
Pennsylvania
our Oregon
is the chocolate state.
All right.
And Washington, D.C. is the low IQ state.
That's our focus.
Well, that's just because of the Congress and the senators that are there. You know, when they leave, then the IQ goes up again.
Now we have another caller here. Let's go ahead and take that call. Welcome to the show, caller.
Hi, you guys. It's me again.
Hey, me again.
Hi. I just wanted to share a story with you. When that video clip you showed of that farmer, I just had to tell you guys this. You'll sympathize because it's relative to supporting legal medical cannabis. In fall 1999, I went to a local hospital here in Portland, and a psychiatrist there said, you have bipolar disorder, which I did not have. I had insomnia. And he gave me a medication called Zyprexa. And to make a long story short, I used 10 milligrams a day for 11 years, and about 3 or 4 years ago, I developed type 2 diabetes. I was 80 pounds overweight. My blood sugar was about 7 times higher than normal. The good news is I've weaned myself off of it. I'm using holistic medicine that you get, that's organic. You get at health food stores. And my health has never been better. But the point is, if I had used medical cannabis like I did in the late 80s, instead of using Zyprexa for 11 years, and it costed $10 a day for one tablet, I would have never developed type 2 diabetes.
Yeah, the side effects of these drugs are horrendous, and cannabis, the side effects from that gives you what John Prine sang and called an illegal smile. He had a great song with that title, Illegal Smile.
And I don't know why they keep trying to treat bipolarism. The earth is bipolar.
That's true. I didn't think of that. And actually, the only reason I didn't even have bipolar disorder, I have traumatic brain injury because when I was a child, a large tape recorder fell on the back of my head. Mm-hmm. And a lot of soldiers, veterans of the war and terrorism, have traumatic brain injury. It does different things, but with me it caused insomnia. So I used medical cannabis in the late 80s to treat it. And actually it worked. It had some small side effects. They would have been less of them if I'd had a vaporizer. But the point is that, and the reason I brought this up is because that farmer said Eli Lilly has the patent on Marinol, and it's Eli Lilly that manufactures Zyprexa. And you guys probably know this, especially Paul, you probably know this, so this will sound familiar. Eli Lilly has had to pay about half the money they made from Zyprexa to lawsuits because people got type 2 diabetes like me. Unfortunately, I never got any of that money, but the good news is the type 2 diabetes can be reversed, like gestational diabetes, whereas type 1, you got to live with that forever. But anyway, in other countries like Spain or wherever, Holland, they don't have Eli Lilly, they don't have the big pharmaceutical companies, and they don't have people saying, we're going to make marijuana illegal, I know. But I just wanted to share that with you and your callers, because if I could go back in time 11 years, I would have said to those doctors, I'm not going to touch Zyprexa, and if necessary to save my life, I'll just use medical cannabis. That's what I would have done if I could go back in time. So
sometimes those side effects with those medicines, it feels like you're watching Saturday Night Live.
Well, you listen to those side effects. It's like causes death. Marijuana's never caused anyone to die unless it was in a no-knock raid where the police came in and shot you and you were, not bothering anybody else.
The side effect that scares me the most is the anal leakage. When you see that on the package, it's time to stop it.
And it's just like our friend Tim said, who's gone on to better things on your show less than a year ago. No one's ever died or overdosed from cannabis. Fact.
We've tried.
No one can argue with that,
God knows I've tried.
Copious amounts.
Oh, I have, yes.
Well, I want to thank you for your call, and thanks for bringing up those very germane points.
It's because
you're welcome, you guys. Take care. Bye.
Thank you.
It's because of all the cutting-edge effort that you're doing here, Paul. The next city we're going to bring the film to with this idea is Portland, and we just went to the Baghdad Theater today, and they're very open to having us there. So I think next month you'll be hearing from us. We'll bring
the drug dealers are down there.
Well,
you got a Baghdad?
They're built-in audience, automatic.
They sells beer there.
$20 for a Baghdad.
We have a brief public service announcement for you, so stand by for this public service announcement.
Clinic, right?
Hi, I'm Willie Nelson, and I urge you to support the Oregon Cannabis Tax Act to regulate marijuana and restore industrial hemp. This initiative will end adult marijuana prohibition and let our criminal justice officers focus limited resources on real criminals and not on marijuana users like me. OCTA will also allow farmers to grow hemp for fuel, fiber, and food, to create jobs and help our economy. Please support OCTA. Thank you.
Industrial CBDs.
All right. Well, there is Willie Nelson there urging you to support our initiative. We certainly do need your help. So go to our website. You can go to octa2012.org. That'll redirect you to cannabistaxact.org. And we are taking your phone calls tonight. If you have a question or comment about ending adult marijuana prohibition, restoring industrial hemp, or helping medical marijuana patients, you can call us at 503-288-4448. That's 503-288-4448. We have a couple of little show and tell items for you tonight. This one's pretty interesting. It's anal gene. This is something, if you had is anal gene. It is a cannabis compound made for just that problem you were talking about, Casper. It's really, there it is. Anal gene from Mumford Pharmaceuticals. This is circa 1912. There it is.
I think an interesting thing that
and here's another one
up is the medicinal side.
Let you look at that.
Stephanie Bishop talks about that a lot.
We'll talk about that in just a second. Here's the Ivy Leaf Corn Cures. This is a product with cannabis to take your corns off. You've seen we've had a lot of corn medicines. This one is from Britain.
Corn.
Ivy Leaf.
Jokes?
Corn.
Well, I just use butter on my corn, so I don't know what.
All right.
Try
All right.
linseed oil on it.
Maybe it might taste better. I don't know.
So there you have it. So you're talking about getting the film shown here locally again. I know it's been around once before. People can also go out to Netflix or
Netflix, iTunes. It's in
Amazon.com. You can buy the DVD.
I probably would have given up a long time ago had I known how difficult it is. Apparently, it's less than 0.5% of all independent films actually get full distribution. But thanks to Rod Pittman, we got in with a great company called Cinema Libre, who has backed up a lot of these types of films in the past. And it's on their website too. It's cinemalibrestudio.com, or any affiliate site that would like to carry the film. We could have it sent to you, and good to go.
All right,
we will be in Portland. We're shooting for next month.
All right, we have another film clip. Keep things moving here, so stay tuned. We'll be back in just a moment.
Hey, Julia!
Yes?
We're going to put a calendar in there that's made from hemp.
Wonderful.
Okay, Julia? The camera is in the bag. Take her away. We're about 2,000 feet elevation, he said here.
My name is Julia Butterfly Hill. I'm 24. I turned 24 up here in Luna. Luna is our name for this incredible ancient tree. She's over 1,000 years old. And I have been here since December 10th, 1997, protesting the logging practices of Pacific Lumber under Maxam Corporation.
Horowitz is the president of the company Maxam. Come in and bought this. He bought Humboldt County. Is the way I look at it. All the log, all the trees, everything, and he paid us, bought it with bonds, junk bonds.
And they decided to do a little logging project just above our home up here.
Now he's cutting the trees down as fast as he can to pay off these junk bonds, the way I look at it, the way I read and understand, to pay off the junk bonds.
And Pacific Lumber is now falling these trees in the Mattole. They are now breaking the agreement which was forged between Maxam and the federal government just a few months ago.
January 1st, 1997 caused a mudslide that completely destroyed 7 homes in the town of Stafford below me, and would have taken people's lives had we not been blessed with someone outside to give the warning in time.
I looked out my daughter's window and I started seeing these trees, very large trees, just snapping off, slam on the ground. My heart went, whoa! People are going to die here, so I literally took off running ahead of the slide and got my neighbors out. Scared the daylights out of an 83-year-old woman.
And we couldn't get out of our driveway. It looked like a battleground.
It's a war. It's really a war. How's the war going?
You really get it clear.
Look good right now.
They have the power to pull one line.
Silly. Wouldn't think there'd be any debate whatsoever going through on that.
I think just what you see as the camera focuses up the hill, a debris torrent or a mountain which literally broke loose.
And this thing just went railroading right through the middle of town.
And so a friend of mine and I were working on trying to stop this. In fact, a lot of people worked on it, and ultimately we were successful.
But we had Woody Harrelson, he helped me sandbag here. We had ex-Governor Jerry Brown helped us sandbag. And Bonnie Ray.
Well, today Julia's, unfortunately, she's in the fog line. She's another quarter-mile up the mountain on top of the ridge up there. That's exactly right where they had the guard trying to starve this woman out of the tree. Julia was getting rather low on supplies and water, and the 1 or 2 guards that they had basically sitting right here were overwhelmed with almost 25 individuals that just stormtrooped the tree and managed to get her water and supplies that were necessary back up the tree.
Well, I think her reason for being up in that tree is to save the tree and save the other larger old growth.
Yeah, okay.
Now here I go again. The old growth is a fabulous tree. I mean, I don't think it should be cut down.
Yeah.
There is enough second growth. This is all second growth.
Yeah.
There's enough second growth they could leave that old growth alone.
Yeah.
They have the right to continue to live. You know, trees that were around at the time that Jesus walked the earth should have a right to keep going and shouldn't necessarily be made into a redwood deck.
People are trying to save the trees here and even giving up their life to live in the tree to keep people from cutting it down to stop the deforestation.
This tree sit has taken on a whole new level because it has become a campaign and organizing center. It has become a media outreach center. I write 30 to 100 letters a week, and the phone is ringing, so I'm going to have to put this on standby.
Hello? Julia. Is this the Julia Butterfly?
All right.
Modern American hero. You want to say hi to Merle?
Okay.
Butterfly.
Thanks for being here today.
Oh, Butterfly.
We're here today to save
How
the
you
redwood
doing today?
forest of Northern California. And we're here to say that this deal
Well, it's starting
that
right
is
now.
about to be cut in the state
Pray for
legislature
us.
and
Thank you all for coming today to hear the very real, very simple truth of what's happening here. I am in a position that no one else, I believe, has ever had in this area. I have been able to watch what is occurring in this area from one vantage point, an amazing vantage point, for 7 months. And what I've seen for over my 7 months here is a magnifying glass that is what is happening all across Pacific Lumberland that is affecting not only the environment, it's affecting people's lives.
This lady's up in that tree. She's got more spirit. Off the camera, she's got more balls than the president.
So that's off the record. It's on camera. It's off the record.
Hemp's the solution for the atmosphere. It's the solution for the fuel. It's solution for the farmers. Its solutions are are innumerable, and most people with average intelligence know that.
And deforestation is the problem. So that's first and foremost. And second of all, it's the fact that we're cutting down trees for paper does not make any form of sense whatsoever. It does not make sense environmentally. It doesn't make sense economically. The amount of pulp that can be produced from one rotation of hemp is, I understand it, is something like in 9 months for one rotation of hemp, it's 20-year-old trees that it would take to produce the same amount of pulpable fiber for paper. So it just doesn't make sense. In the United States, our Articles of Confederacy were based upon the Iroquois Nation's Confederacy, and we shaped a country on beautiful ideals. But from day one, our actions have never met our ideals. We have continuously made promises to the native peoples of this land. We've made promises to the land itself, and we've made promises to future generations that we have never, ever kept.
The American Indians have the tools and the knowledge to grow hemp, and would be a wonderful source of income, so they could be worthwhile and self-sustaining themselves. It would be wonderful to have American Indians growing hemp. What's the matter with us? How dumb do we have to be before, it's really bad.
So that was an excerpt from Hempsters Plant the Seed. You can see the high quality and great information that has.
We included that because a lot of people were saying, what's the connection? And Julie has just scratched the surface there. But it's the fact that hemp addresses all these different issues: sovereignty for Native Americans, alternative crop for the Kentucky farmers, saving of the trees, and
fuel, global warming,
even the
criminal justice, overcrowding prisons.
It's
amazing.
It
goes on and on and on.
It's amazing, and I thought it was not right to leave those out. Show the connection. Even the medicinal part of the industrial crop, they're finding that the CBDs have a great effect on certain ailments that the medicinal crop
CBD
doesn't.
has more medicinal utility than the THC does. There's no doubt about
Unending
that.
discoveries.
It's true. I want to urge you, there is something we can do. We can get this initiative on the ballot, put Oregon on the cutting edge of exciting new economic developments. We don't have to cut our forests for trees. We don't have to pump toxic petroleum out of the earth and burn it and put that carbon into our atmosphere. We don't have to use these deadly pharmaceuticals that cause untold side effects. We can feed the world's people with the protein that hemp can provide. We can clothe our people with hemp fiber. We can use our hemp fuel. We just have to legalize it, and our initiative will do that. So I urge you to go out there and get some signatures, print out the petition from our website there at cannabistaxact.org. If you can afford to, go ahead and make a donation. Once again, there is an Oregon state income tax credit of up to $50 a person if you make a donation to an Oregon political committee. The Cannabis Tax Act petition qualifies for that, so you could consider it a loan. Loan us $50 today at cannabistaxact.org, or send in a check to that address there on your screen, and the state of Oregon will pay you back when you file your Oregon state income taxes next year. So please help us put this on the ballot.
Yep.
So Casper, you want to say anything in closing?
Yes, I want everybody to get out there and get active, not just in your neck of the woods, but get active on telling people around the world about the need to create 50,000 different products, all these jobs, ending the prohibition. It's just absolutely important that we make it happen. And education is the key. So learn what you need to know about this plant and then start sharing with everybody. This prohibition must end. And you at the Justice Department, man, I really hope Oaksterdam becomes your Tara, baby.
And I want to thank you folks for watching. Thank Michael Henning for coming in and bringing his film, Hempsters Plant the Seed. He's jumped over and he's ready to join John Cornett and Jan Sue for a closing blues song. Thanks for watching, and help us restore hemp.
Yeah, baby.
Good night.
dust my broom. Woke up this morning, believe I wanna dust my broom. Lost the best kind of loving, now my friends can have my room. I'm gonna write a letter, telephone every town I know. I'm gonna write a letter, telephone every town I know. If he ain't in Portland, he's in Forest Grove, I know.